So we recently did a freelancer.com/Fiverr video.
Yeah, reaction video. Check out our YouTube for that if you want to see that.
Yeah.
But also it got me thinking that I feel like there's not a place online, a reputable place online, where you can find designers and I guess front-end developers, everyone who's just doing like something visually creative, illustrators, all that, where people are talking to each other in a meaningful way. I don't know, I feel like freelancer, like, yeah, okay, it's reputable, whatever. I'm not hating on anyone who does their work there and makes money there, fine. But it doesn't feel like it's curated at all, or like there's any type of...
It isn't.
Yeah.
It's not curated.
And then we did research some, like Storetasker, I think was one of them. But that seems so dead to me. I think it's mostly, that one's more about like Shopify stuff and like e-commerce stuff.
We also only knew it because I was featured on there.
Yeah. And then there were some other ones we looked at too. What was it? Good At?
Yeah,
that's like mostly Austria, I think, too, isn't it?
And I think it's recruiting. Like, they don't have an actual catalog online of people.
But none of them do. That's the thing. Like, Storetaskers also, I think you have to write them and they'll find someone for you.
I think what they do is...
So I guess it is curated in that sense because they curate it after the fact.
Yeah.
And it is curated. I think the people on there are vetted and stuff. But it just seems kind of dead. I don't know. The thing that I'm envisioning is something like Freelancer, but not necessarily like this thing with job postings and people bidding, nothing like that. But just some kind of a network where you can find people and you can see what they do. And then you can also theoretically as a client be like, hey, I need this. Is there someone available, kind of thing? I don't know. I just feel like there's nothing like that out there. That's quality.
No, I mean, it's a bit different, but there used to be some, it's still there, I think, Dribbble, where you posted your work, kind of like Behance, but more like in the product design / UI UX design and animation space. And I think a lot of people got jobs from there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's kind of like, so you went on there. I'm not saying it's Pinterest, but you could like go there, look at designs, get inspired, and when you clicked on the work, obviously there was the person who did the work, kind of like Behance.
Yeah.
In a way, if you think about it. So so I'm pretty sure clients were browsing that and people were getting jobs from that platform. For some reason, it's dead now. That's why I remember.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to that, but so also awards makes me also think of
it's
a good example of curation and catalog, and there's a directory there, and people, I mean, we've gotten jobs from there, so I'm assuming other people get jobs from there too.
Yeah.
I like something like awards, which is very website focused, for a more general design community, a community of people who might even be more generalists or people who do illustration, things like that. I feel like there isn't really a platform for that. So we were kind of brainstorming. We always have these ideas of creating something ourselves, which I think is something we might do someday down the line. But then today we were talking about maybe just creating a place where people can talk to each other. Because something I did like about Threads, where we haven't really been active there since we left Instagram, but one thing I liked about Threads is that I felt like, at least at the beginning, it went downhill pretty fast. But at the beginning, I felt like the algorithm was good at connecting us with people in our community.
Yeah.
From around the world. I feel like most of the people we had on Instagram were people from Vienna or Austria or Germany. But Threads was more international, felt more international to me. Mm-hmm. We had more people like from the US that we were talking to, or other places in Europe. So I don't know. Now we're thinking about creating something where people can talk to each other.
Yeah, because that's missing. I cannot think of one platform where it's mostly design focused and people can actually like build a community, like talk to each other, not build a community, be a community.
Yeah, be a community, be involved in some way. Even if it's just like you have a question about pricing, or you have a question about a client or your proposal, you want feedback maybe on something, your process, maybe literal design feedback from your peers. A place where you can go, where I'll go there and ask those people because they're going to have the answers for me. Something like that.
Yeah.
That's what I want to create. So
Yeah, so that's great. Something like that.
Yeah, so now our ideas evolved into creating a Discord for that.
Yeah, I think it's a nice first step. Just to have people be there for each other.
Yeah, and I think also for people to connect, and also the job thing.
Oh, yeah, right.
I feel like it does happen to us. It hasn't happened to us so much recently, but it has happened to us in the past that we've had job opportunities. So clients have come to us and they've asked us, they have a project and can we do this for them? And then it usually ended up being either they didn't have enough money for our, like what our prices are, or maybe it just didn't work out timeline wise. We were just too busy and we just referred somebody else. And we've had that happen to us too, that people have referred us. So I just think it could also be a place, there could be a channel with jobs where people can post jobs that they have been offered and had to decline for whatever reason, and be transparent about it. Like, why did you decline?
Yeah.
What's the budget? And then somebody who maybe has those prices and for them that budget's perfect can be like, oh, I'd like to do that. And then they can get in touch with the client kind of thing.
Yeah,
Again, with like some curation and some quality control, because on Freelancer, you have no idea even who this person is. You've probably never worked with them before. Like, there's a lot of risk working with someone online that you've never heard of before. But if somebody, like, so a client has come to you and they want to work with you and they already trust you, because they wouldn't if they wouldn't come to you if they didn't. So you then referring somebody that you trust, for them that feels good, so they're more likely to work with them. So it's like a win-win for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, that's literally how it works, but without like a platform. It works via email.
Yeah, these things happen all the time, but it always ends up being, like via email or friend of a friend or within the network. And I feel like it would be cool to expand that so people internationally would have a chance at those jobs as well.
Yeah, I remember on Super High, that's where I started learning front-end development. They had a community and it was like super helpful, because obviously it started out with like learning channels and helping each other learn. But then it expanded into way more, like also with job postings or like show your portfolio, or like people asking for feedback on their portfolio. Like it evolves into like really a community, which obviously also the Super High members, or like the people who work there, built. Like it also took like a lot of effort, I'm sure, to build the community. But once there was this community, it was extremely helpful. I'm still in the channel, although I'm not posting anything, but that channel helped me a lot. It connected us to a lot of people. It was such a great network just to like, also just to meet new people. It's honestly amazing.
That's the other thing. I think networking is very difficult for creative people, because you're often, I'm talking about specifically freelancers and studio owners, because you're usually working from home or your office, and it's often a one-person thing. So you don't really come into contact with a lot of people other than your clients. Mm-hmm. And it's hard. You're very on your own. And the whole point of our podcast has always been to like make people feel less alone, because we talk very honestly about our experiences. And it's something I talked about in a very recent video that we've posted on YouTube, about how 6 things we wish we knew before we started our business. And one of them was like how lonely it is.
Yeah.
Because no one gets it, and obviously we get each other because we're in it together, but not everyone has that. And then you go home and you talk to somebody, maybe your partner or whatever, but they're employed, so they don't really get it either. And it's just a lonely like position to be in. And I think that the community would be nice for that too, because then everyone's kind of in it together and it feels less lonely.
The community is always great, like in any sense. Like, I don't know, you move from a different country, you don't know any people. It's nice to like find a community, like a group where people have the same experience, and then you can meet other people.
Yeah.
Of course, not everyone's gonna be a cup of tea. Not everyone's gonna, you're not gonna get along with everyone in any network. But there's always gonna be someone who might help you out, or who you can help out, or who you can work with together, maybe collaborate on a project. Like maybe maybe you are a designer, you're looking for a front-end developer to work with you on a project. There are so many different scenarios.
Yeah, or you're doing branding for your client and they say, oh, we want to add some mascots, but you're not someone who does illustration, and then you need an illustrator, where do you go to find someone?
Behance, and then I'm looking.
Yeah, but it's like it's so hard to judge from just, I think like something like a forum or Discord, which is like a forum or chat or whatever,
Yeah.
where you can really get to know someone. I think that it's easier or feels more like you're closer to the person,
Yeah, for sure.
and it's easier to build trust over a period of time than it is to just like browse even awards. Like, how do you know who's behind that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I would have loved to be in a community.
Yeah, me
when
too, because I
started
feel like
out.
even it's as simple as you just want to like rant,
Yeah.
and someone's like, oh, I had the same thing happen to me,
Or imagine
and just
asking for
that like makes me
pricing.
feel so much better.
Yeah,
What?
or imagine like the pricing situation that we had in the beginning.
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
I don't know what to charge for this. I don't even know who to ask because maybe it's also a bit of being embarrassed. I guess for me it was like, oh my God, not embarrassed, but like kind of, I would just say embarrassed, but it wasn't as bad to go to another agency and be like, oh, what's the price for this? Because we did ask.
Yeah,
But-
we did ask. Yeah,
Yeah, we did ask, but because we knew someone,
yeah, that's true.
luckily. But
Yeah.
if you don't know anyone, who do you ask?
Yeah, and then something recently it happened to me on Blue Sky. I saw a post from someone they had posted on Threads about their prices.
Yeah.
And like just reminded me of our trauma that we had on there. And they were like, it was something, I think they were offering logos designed for about $700 or $800,
Yeah.
which I think is a fair price. Like, I wouldn't, she's just starting out, and I
Yeah.
feel like that's a good price for someone who's just starting out. Like, honestly, good for her.
Yeah.
But someone made her feel like, or tried to make her feel like that was outrageous. And then she was asking on Blue Sky, like, hey, like, is this too much? Like, I feel like it's a fair price for my skills and like my
Yeah.
experience. And I commented saying like Threads, like we had this similar experience on Threads, and people there just don't understand pricing, and it's totally fair. I would even say it's on the low end.
Yeah.
Like, don't let anyone make you feel like that's too high.
Yeah.
And she was like, thank you so much. Like,
Yeah.
I was the only one that replied to her, because Blue Sky's like, there aren't that many people on Blue Sky.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult there.
It's hard there. But I was just thinking like that kind of interaction is what I see happening as well, like in a community like what we're now planning.
Right now. We started.
Yeah,
planning.
we're starting now to plan.
Honestly, this is like a live episode.
Yeah, this is a live episode into our process. Honestly, we were just talking about this at lunch
Yeah.
like 1 hour ago.
Yeah. And now we're here
Now we're here
yapping about it on a podcast.
putting it out online.
Yeah, exactly. Now we're like being held accountable when we put this out, which is good.
Yeah, no, but there are some things that were happening for me, like in my private life, where there were also discussions about using Discord in a similar way. Like, it was about a community and building a community around what we do, like our hobbies. And I was like, it would be such a good idea and such a good place. And I feel like if people are able to keep it active, I think that's the only thing. The only risk is that it can kind of die if there aren't enough people who are actively using it. But yeah, that's just something we have to test.
Normal. Yeah, it's normal. That I've been in Discord channels that died pretty quickly, but it was like super active in the beginning, as it usually is, and then it dies down. I don't know. I used to be good at keeping communities active, but I'm not sure about it now.
Yeah, I think what we are going to have to do, like if we're talking about process now, since we're just talking live on this thing, we should definitely schedule time in the week where we do something regarding the community. You know, like, I don't know if it's like a daily stand up. No, like for us, you know, where we post something into the community, something like either something about same or something about news in the design community, or an event maybe that's happening in Vienna. Like, I don't know, we need to keep it active. Like, we need to keep it active.
I know.
Even if nobody
that's
reacts
my
to
issue.
it.
I think
Even if no one says anything, we still have to act like it's active.
Yeah, but that's the way to go. Yeah, that's also something I'm not good at.
But what I like about Discord is you can automate a lot of things. Like, there's a lot of apps, and I think that's what I find, how do you say, like, attractive about Discord, because I think everything else would require so much maintenance. Like, because we were talking, the original thought of this whole episode and this idea of making a Discord was to create a network.
Yeah.
And your first idea is like a website or an app or something. But something like that, first of all, a huge level of effort to even get it set up.
Exactly.
And then to maintain that.
Yeah.
And then all the data privacy stuff, you know. But if you use something that already exists, like Discord, they handle all of that. They handle the user authentication, all that stuff. Like you don't have to deal with any data from users, which already makes it so much easier. And then there's the thing that you can probably do a lot with, just automation apps.
Yeah.
So you could schedule posts, like schedule news and stuff.
Yeah, I think that it's the lowest effort entry. Does it make sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to build anything crazy. It's already, the tools are already there. That's what we also like with design and development, to rely on tools that are there, that don't require a big learning curve.
Like obviously some kind of fancy website would be like
It would be cool also for us.
and it would be like a beautiful solution or whatever. But I think that at the stage we're in right now, it makes sense to even just test the waters on something like Discord.
Yeah.
That's what we always tell our clients. Like, don't get a custom web design, web development project. Like, don't pay tens of thousands for that when you haven't even tested your product in the market yet. Just get some Shopify theme, add your branding, your colors, and go.
Yeah.
Like, marketing is way more important at that stage.
Yeah, I love how we always sell our services.
And
so
our
like, don't buy our services, please.
Yeah, for real. And then it's the same thing for us right now. Like at this stage, we don't need that custom solution. We need to test the waters.
Yeah. Wow, this episode is just like opened up our brains.
This episode is like basically an insight into what we talk about at lunch.
Yeah. That's literally our lunch talks. Okay, then I would say, since this is a live episode, I'm not sure when it's actually gonna air, but until this one airs, there's gonna be a Discord link in the description below.
Oh yeah, but we have to promote that now.
Exactly.
No, I'm gonna have to re-record the like outro of our podcast.
Well. So
I only just did that and I have to do it again. Okay,
so there's gonna be a Discord link down below in the description. And
it's for anyone who's in the creative community.
Yeah,
if you're listening to the podcast, you're probably the right target group for it.
Exactly. So let's find some like-minded people and put them together and have a nice little chat.
That sounds so sus the way you just said that. No, yeah, let's all meet at the Discord.
Yeah.
See you there. Thank you for listening to this episode of Never Went to Business School. Don't forget to follow us here on Spotify. And if you enjoy our content, check out our YouTube channel for more educational videos and subscribe to our newsletter on Substack.